Yeah, you intimidated the Green Beret. He's scared.
Charlie, we need you over here, honey, because nobody really wants to look at Jay. It's just sort of how it is.
He's cute though.
All right, everybody, I just want to welcome you to our home, okay?
Thank you.
And, you know, I guess it was a few weeks ago, once it was a month ago, we had the GRCC fundraiser here, and we had all the politicians here, and Jay was here. Shelley, were you here that night? I wasn't either.
Yankees game or something?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Sean, I didn't run into you that night. But we're so happy to have Jay here. I mean, I was at the convention, and you know, Jay, like myself, is a trial lawyer, and he made a great speech. He made a great speech, and he's running against the most obnoxious human being on the face of the earth. And I mean that very sincerely. I mean, just because someone's in the other political party doesn't mean I necessarily dislike them, but I truly dislike her. I don't like the way she treats people. I don't like the way she takes on rights that she doesn't have. The Attorney General is an office with limited powers like everything else, except she doesn't believe that there are any limits on her powers. She just thinks what's a good idea is, then it's okay. Jay will effectuate the laws of Massachusetts. He will protect our rights, which is the job of the Attorney General. And I told him that night, ran into him, he did such a great job in his speech, that if I could do anything to help him, let me know. So I'm glad he's here, and I'm glad all you fine people are here. We invited Jay to come and speak, but we insisted Shelley come so we'd have something good to look at when Jay was speaking. So in any event, the future Attorney General in Massachusetts. Jay
Wow, it's great to be here, guys. Thank you so much. I just want to say that this is being recorded, and I hope it's going to be on Facebook. Right now, I got a Sam Adams in here. And I did this. I wound up doing this first in when I was the Lynn RCC had a like a cookout, and they invited us. By the way, it was pouring rain there too, but they invited us out, and that was the couple of days before. Jim Cook, the guy who's the founder of Sam Adams, so he goes down to see President Trump, and he brings his samples, because you know if Jim goes anywhere, he brings the samples with him, and he gives them to people, and well, Trump doesn't drink, but Trump appreciated it, and he told them basically, Mr. President, I love your policies, because of the tax cuts, I'm able to hire more people and everything, so pretty much giving kudos to the President. So, Joe Curtatone, everybody know who he is. He's the mayor of Sanctuary City, Somerville, right? Sanctuary City, Somerville. So Joe tells everybody, we're going to boycott Sam Adams because Jim went down to see the president. So I said, oh, and it just was that time. So they were having some of the candidates get up and speak then. And so they had me get up. So I come up and I got a Sam Adams in my hand. My wife goes, what are you doing? You're broadcasting this. I go, I'm protesting. She goes, what? I'm protesting. I go, and so I say, Joe, this one's for Donald.
And how else would an Irishman protest?
And I also said, Joe, just like for you, your city is #1 on my list as well. So, thank you very much for having me here. As you know, I'm Jay McMahon. I'm running for Attorney General. Usually, especially when I'm at the gun groups, and I've been to hundreds of them, the sports clubs and everything, and I get up, and I've learned to do it this way. I say, I'm Jay McMahon, and I'm running against Maura Healey. And the place comes down. It's becoming that simple, and it's that good. You know, when people, anywhere I go, when I mention her name, I get words that come back. Words, Joe, that you and I might talk somewhere else, but not here, not with ladies present. Holy smokes, I think she's the most hated woman in America. It's, at least for me, in my world, it's seeming that way. So, anyhow, if you've been listening to the news, big news came out today. Huge news. It was reported by the Globe. The Globe picked it up, and they're going to run a secondary story on it tomorrow.
Surprise.
Yeah, I know. This is the thing that's great. I mean, if you heard it in the Herald, you know, people would half believe it and not believe it, but it's in the Globe. It's in her paper. And they said, today, the SJC, no, I mean, it's not happy news. I mean, it might be for me because it's on by opponent, but it's not happy news for the Commonwealth.
No.
I mean, thousands with an S. We're
30
talking
now.
probably 10 to 20,
30, Jay.
Is it 30 now? It's up to
30K.
30,000 drug convictions in Massachusetts are being thrown out because of the drug lab scandal. And the Globe, and well, the SJC, they lay it at the feet of Maura Healey's office. They say they call it egregious prosecutorial misconduct and fraud upon the court. That's huge.
It's huge.
And let me tell you something.
She's done nothing.
When the SJC says we're going to throw out 30,000 cases, you know they took this very, very seriously. And this is not a spanking. This is something like people resign over this disgrace. Now, she's not going to do that. But I got a tendency to think that the voters are going to help her out on November 6th. Now, two of the people that were involved, her top lieutenants in her office, who particularly were involved in the hands-on, egregious prosecutorial misconduct, they're no longer at her office. Did you guys know that? No. They're no longer there, and they've been promoted. And isn't that what the Democrats do? If you get into a scandal, they say, let's get you out of here right away. And there's a job opening up there. Go ahead up there, and we'll give you a six-figure income, because that's what they are. I believe they're somewhere in the, I think one of them is in the probation, higher up in the commission of probation. Does anybody know? And the other one is a clerk of court somewhere. Okay?
Out west.
Foster and Kasbarek, the two prosecutors. That's how they do it over there. I'll tell you what. These kind of scandals affect our quality of life. They're letting people, and this is going to let a whole bunch more people out of jail. But you know something? I don't have to tell you guys hear this. You're right here in Essex County. Don't we have a judge down in Salem who's letting them loose anyway? He's cutting them loose. They're over here. Yeah, a guy named Feely who rhymes with Healy. I say that all the time. Rhymes with Healy. And you know something? The citizens of Salem, they were in an uproar, and you could tell because a couple of people actually lit on fire cigarettes. Nobody tipped over police cruisers, but they were upset and they were mad. And they had a rally on the steps of the Salem Superior Court. And the reason I know that, because Jeff Cooner, the TV guy, I mean the news guy, the talk show host, was ginning it up. And he called me. And he said, hey, can you come up here to Salem? And I said, when do you want me? He says, can you be here in 2 hours? And I said, okay, I'll hustle up there. And I did. And I was the last one to speak. But I'll tell you what, Massachusetts, this was the cradle of democracy, the cradle of liberty. And we used to be the education capital of the world. We're still the medical capital of the world. We used to be the legal capital of the world. We had people on the Supreme Court in Washington would come from our SJC. But there's been a problem here lately. The last 50 years, am I the only one to know this? That since Frank Bellotti, you remember Frank Bellotti? Wasn't he a good guy?
Yes, he was.
He was a Democrat, but he was
Italian.
How can you go wrong with that? He's already got 80 points for that one. But Frank Bellotti was a great guy, and he said, we got to take politics out of the office of Attorney General so that it could become a law enforcement office. And he goes, it's going to take them 30 years to screw this up. Thank you, Maura Healey. So anyhow, here's the deal. We're facing You know, I love to be funny, I really do, and I am kind of a funny guy, and a lot of times my wife says, you know, your speeches are way too serious. And you know why? Life and death decisions are made out of that office. I mean, let's think about it. Seriously, we have an opioid epidemic in Massachusetts. People are literally dying in the streets. They are. When she first came into the office in 2010, she was hired as a manager, one of Martha Coakley's managers. The deaths by opiate addiction in Massachusetts were 500 a year. You figure, well, that's a lot. That's one each city a year. I mean, 10 in each city a year, because there's 51 cities. So you figure, well, that's a lot, one a month, geez. You know, that's terrible. Now it's quadrupled. It's over 2,000. Now let me tell you something, if that was a body count in a war and that was the enemy, we'd be winning. But it's our people who are dying. It's our citizens who are dying. And all of a sudden, they said it's leveling off. Well, it's leveling off in that it hasn't gotten any higher this year, or I should say in 2017, is just a little bit under what it was in 2016. It's still at $2,000. That means every year 2,000 people are dying to this plague. And they're dying, and it seems as if no government official is doing anything about it. Now, to be fair, the governor has done something about it, and this is what he's done. He has given first responders Narcan, because we know Narcan is saving these people. But all it is doing is saving them for the next time when we can't get there soon enough. In other words, people haven't stopped using drugs. People haven't all of a sudden become rehabilitated and the problem's going away. No, the problem's getting worse. We just have the ability to keep them alive a little bit longer. So, I got a plan. Most of you have heard it. And I'm just going to knock off the 3 points for you. Effective and successful rehabilitation. We can do it here in Massachusetts. I say it all the time. Massachusetts, we are the medical capital of the world. People fly in from all over the globe to get stuff resolved here. They don't go to their capital cities. They come to Boston. They come to Massachusetts, and we take care of their problems. How is it our government programs for rehabilitation are 99% failure? That is, to quote Hillary Clinton, deplorable. We can't tolerate that. Now, the dirty little secret, and I'm going to share some dirty little secrets here tonight. Not about me and Shelley. Some dirty little secrets go like this. Private pay opiate rehabilitative programs are 87% success rate. 87%. And they measure success, end of program, out 5 years, no relapse. Although I've been told by the physicians, 90 days out afterwards, we know they're not going to relapse. Because they got their lives back. We can give the opiate addicts their life back. The second thing is we got to dry up the source of heroin and fentanyl. Again, I bring you to your own county. What just happened last weekend in Lawrence? Sanctuary City, Lawrence.
Sanctuary City, Lawrence?
Sanctuary City, Lawrence.
Where there isn't any drug coming in there?
I'm telling you right now, the feds, and it was an all-feds operation. Did you know that, Joe? All-fed. No local guys. No local cops, no state troopers, no Lawrence cops involved. All-fed. Because they're not dealing with the feds. They're not communicating with the feds. Now, to me, it's absolutely nonsense, and it's an insult to everyone in this room. You're all federal taxpayers. You're paying for those federal law enforcement assets. And listen, it's public safety, and it's quality of life. I don't know who they think they're protecting, but the feds say they're protecting 50 illegal aliens who have already been arrested before for the same crime. They just happen to round them all up this time together. Yeah. There was enough fentanyl in this last raid to kill half the people in Massachusetts. That means all of Rhode Island. I'm telling you, it's getting crazy. And Maura Healey, I want to know who she thinks she's protecting. I'll tell you clearly who she's protecting. If this raid is any indication of who she's protecting criminals. Can you imagine that the highest elected law enforcement official in Massachusetts is protecting criminals. See, we got a problem here, and it goes like this. It's ideology. She has her ideology, and it plays out in policy. And this is the end result of that policy. Criminals are protected by our chief law enforcement officer. That's the policy. Now, she will not tell you that she consciously wants to protect these people. It's the result of her policy. And it's nutty. And it's affecting our public safety. So, what am I going to do about that? First thing I'm going to do, we're going to throw her out of office on November 6th. It's compelling. We have to do this. Seriously, the Republic is at stake. Can you imagine what she's doing? There's a whole bunch of other things I could talk about, but I'm going to just end it on one more note. The Second Amendment.
Yep.
Now listen, since 1790, it has served us well. The Second Amendment says the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Since 1790, we've had that. Hasn't changed. Done pretty well. Every other state seems to be doing okay with it. Maura Healey decides to infringe. Just does. Just like you said earlier. Just decided to do it. I'm the Attorney General, takes out her piece of paper, writes the thing on it, says the subjects shall not have these whole categories of guns. Maura Healey. That's it. This is law. No state representative voted for it. No state senator voted for it. Governor didn't even know it was coming. She just went ahead and did it. Let me tell you something. When you've got a government official who is going to tell you what she's going to say and how she's going to limit your rights, and that's just it, suck it up. You say, okay, we will until your term is up. You're out. So, let me just say this. First of all, Joe, thank you so much for having me in your home. Connie, thank you. And thank you for that. I love being here. This is the second time, but not, this is actually the third time. The first time I was walking by out front in a parade. Joe comes down to me and he says, he comes right out in the parade. It was good because I remember seeing you at the convention, and you said, we're going to have a big party at my house later on in the summer. I want you to be there. And I said, I'll be there. I'll be glad to be here. Then I'm coming in the parade, we're coming up, and I look over and I see the law office sign, and I look over and I go, oh, that's going to be Joe's. And all of a sudden I see Joe on the steps. Joe came out and he says, don't remember. He says, look, don't forget, I want you to be here at the party. I said, I'll be here. I'll be here. All right? So, and his daughter invites me to the party, and everybody who is here. It was impressive. I loved it. I mean, I'm telling you, Ryan knows because we're up on the roof, right? And the governor comes up, and he's talking and making his way around, and he sees me, and he comes over and he shakes my hand, and he's asking me how things are going, and then Amanda comes up with a microphone and says, the governor's going to be leaving in a few minutes, and this and that, and the governor goes, okay, good, thank you for inviting me here. Joe, where's Joe? Thank you, Joe. Joe, where's Joe here? I'm like,
watch the Yankees game tonight.
I'll tell you what, if the Yankees had won the other night and tonight was the last game, this party wasn't going to happen.
Didn't the governor say you can't be Republican and root for the Yankees?
I'm telling you, now this is what was so precious. Because I was talking with Ryan Hawks right there, and we're up on the roof in the far corner, and we're admiring the scenery. We're just chatting back and forth about, because he's on my campaign, so we're talking about a couple of things we want to do in the campaign, this and that. And like I said, the governor came up. And so he comes up there and talking, and the governor's looking at the scene, he goes, well, he's making some comments, but they were kind of funny. But when the governor says, Joe, and they say, so I guess it was your mom. She was so polite. She was so polite. Oh my word. And she actually, I mean, I bought it. She goes, Joe is at Yankee Stadium. So the governor goes, oh, I didn't know the Red Sox were playing the Yankees. And somebody followed up and said, they're not. It's the Rangers. And of course, the camera cameras are on and I'm like this, I'm going, I don't know what to do. It's one of those moments where you don't know to or go blind. But Joe, this is great. Thank you so much. So you invited me here. I am here, and I see all your lovely friends. Guys, thank you so much. What we'll do is we'll mix around a little bit. If you guys got any questions you want to ask me, what you think I'm going to do, or what you're, because a lot of people got tons of what I call secondary issues, and I don't mind talking about them. But the main ones, the main issues, you guys know where I stand. Someone is going to do something about the opiate crisis. It's going to be me, because I am going to stake my name on it. 3.5 years from now, the voters are going to start listening and seeing, and did I carry that through or did I not? Second Amendment, I'm going to take care of that on day one. Going to rescind and revoke her gun enforcement order because it's unconstitutional. She didn't have authority to issue it in the first place, but I do have authority to revoke it because it was just on her signature, so I'm going to do that. Public safety, I'm telling you guys this. She throws our public safety to the wind. When we get intelligence information that somebody is bad and got some terrible designs on certain groups of people are going to do something or going to get a gun or something, and we got it, I'm going to act on it. We're not going to have another 2013 Boston Marathon where we were, did you guys know we were warned? Did you know that? 2013? Yes. Guys, intelligence services from the Russian Federation, no friends of ours, the only real Russian connection I can find, okay, tells us, watch out for these Zanaya brothers, they're up to no good. Well, how do you know? Because we wiretapped their phones. Well, did you have a warrant? Are you serious? Are you serious? They didn't do it. They did nothing with that intelligence information. I'm not going to be like that. We got something. We know someone's up to no good. We're going to act on it because my job, number one, is to keep everybody safe. And I want to tell you something. My family is part of everybody here. We're all going to be safe. Not just Maura Healey with her state police detail. We're all going to be safe. So, I end it with this and then I'll take some questions. When you elect me as your next Attorney General, I promise you and guarantee you this. Your public safety, all of your civil rights, and your guns are safe with me.
I saw your debate the other night.
Okay.
It was very good.
Yeah, everybody wants to know why I didn't give her a body slam. And I
Yeah.
said, come on, will you guys? I told, listen, I promised everybody that she is the sitting Attorney General and that I will treat her with all the respect and dignity that Trump treated Hillary Clinton.
There you go.
The first question about Kavanaugh, I was so mad at her when she basically said he should not be confirmed. That this woman's completely believable. I felt like, and I was thinking that maybe you might give her a body slam then, because it was so outrageous what she said to me. But,
Yes,
and I was wondering what the...
I agree. And inside me, now you saw me sitting there.
I know, I'm sure you...
Where's Ryan? Ryan?
I didn't know.
Was I? Ryan, when I was sitting there reserved like this,
I was in the green room.
did we
So,
practice this? Did we
did.
practice this?
We practiced you not potentially strangling or...
Says Jay, wait till the second debate. They're all waiting for that. They're waiting for you to
It's
do
on
that.
October the
So I
24th.
just sat there.
Go ahead.
Oh, did I ever want to? I wanted to say, can you imagine this? This goes to show you the difference between her and me. She is a political activist. I am a lawyer, and I can easily be a prosecutor because we know the standards. If you do criminal defense work, you know what they need. So that means you're a better prosecutor because you'll make sure you have it. So there are no holes in your case. For instance, you got what she said. Was Dr. Ford compelling? I don't know if it was all that compelling, but it was moving nonetheless. You know something inside her is kicking in, and it gives you the sense that, all right, okay. Now, she says that stuff. Now, the judge, he says it never happened. No way, no how, ever. He sounds pretty compelling. So now, Lawyering 101, because you and I had Lawyering 101 way back a million years ago. Lawyering 101 says, okay, now you got to look for the details. You let the facts take you where it needs to go. You don't just say, she's right, he's wrong, he's right, she's wrong. You let the facts take you to the conclusion. Sometimes you don't like to go there personally, but it's true. The nasty guy didn't do it. His friend did it, or whatever. You gotta take the facts there. So, since he says it never happened, you can't get details from him, other than where he was. He was drunk in some other bar or something. You can't get, there's no other details to get from him. So you go back to her. Okay, ma'am, tell it, which city did this happen in? I don't know. Okay, when did it happen? I don't know. Okay, what did he have, what did he say? What I told you, he put his hand over my mouth and he was groping me. Okay? What kind of clothes was he wearing? I don't know. Okay? Boy, you're making this awful hard for us. Oh, I know! The last resort. Do you have any witnesses? Yes, I do. And these are the names. And one of them's my best friend. She was there. Okay, great. Well, it looks like the judge is on the hot seat on this one, Joe. I mean, we got witnesses. Let's go talk to them. Ma'am, you know your friend, Dr. Ford? Yes. Did this so happen? No, I don't have any memory of that. No memory of that, or no memory of that happening, or it didn't happen. I have no memory. Let me tell you something. You know what that says? And Joe, you and I know this, and any other lawyers in here know this. I'm not going to lie for somebody else. But I'm not going to throw her under the bus either. So he says, I have no memory of it. Okay, let's ask the other two. Same results. Now, when you get that, and you're a prosecutor, and you're saying, it's already out that she gave 3 witnesses who cannot corroborate the story. It's over. You don't even have probable cause. You have nothing. So for Maura Healey to say, well, she's a woman, we're going to believe her, that's the end of it, start believing the victims. I agree with believing the victims as long as we have corroborating evidence. Because that's what lawyers do. Everybody else likes to feel a little bit, but sometimes these cases, this is why you hire a lawyer. A real lawyer who's going to look at the facts and let the facts take us there. And in here, the facts took us to a Ringling Brothers circus.
And she's
That's where
the
they
top
took us.
lawyer in the state, and she's saying.
Right,
Okay?
And it wasn't a court of law.
right.
And they wanted the American people to hear what was being said, and they forget that mothers of sons,
Right.
and I am one, feel the same way that mothers of daughters do.
That's right.
You better not accuse my kid of doing something if you don't have evidence.
I have represented people.
Yeah, thank you.
I have represented people who have, I have represented people where they have been accused, and only by the grace of God, we found the security video across the street and they didn't erase it yet. And we looked on the video. It is absolutely nothing. She said, he dragged me out of the car, was kicking me when I got up to leave. He came by and he started chasing me and he was pounding on me. And because I knew I had the video, I said, how many times did he pound on you? 5? You sure it wasn't 6? Well, maybe it was 6, okay? And you said he kicked you. How many times did he kick you? He kicked me 3 times. Are you sure it wasn't 4? Oh, it was maybe something like that. And then you showed the video. Oh, it's devastating. Ma'am, is that you? Is that your car? Is that him on the other side of the car talking to you through the window? Yeah. All right, keep watching. He leaves, gets in his car and drives away. See what I'm saying? There's another side and you gotta look. So, we look for those things. You just can't say, I'm gonna believe one person and that's it. This judge who was exemplary up to this point, but now we're going back 30 some odd years to high school. Please don't do that with me. We're gonna go back to high school? This guy shouldn't be judged because of high school? And they can't even prove it? See, this is the, and you know, this is nothing more than a sandbag job anyway.
But that's what they wanted.
I know they wanted it.
This was made up before.
So let me ask you this, did it backfire?
Yes.
Absolutely. And should they pay the price on November 6th?
Yes!
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, we really appreciate that you came all the way up from the other cave.
Yes, the other cake. Didn't I bring some lobster sandwiches? Because I don't.
You did lobster.
And I have to tell
I don't
you.
know if you guys have lobster here. That's why I
But, and I know you're too busy to read it right now, but after you win on
Yes.
November 6th, and you
Okay.
have a little time off before you get going.
All right.
This is a legal thriller wrten by the exemplary writer Joseph M. Orlando. Okay, right there. And while I know you do this every day as a profession, it's based on a real trial that he tried. And I think you'd enjoy it, and he
I
signed
will.
it to you.
It's unbelievable.
So we hope it. When you do, oh thanks Dan, so
It's
you guys read
fantastic.
it. And when you read it,
Yeah.
and let us know what you think.
Thank you,
And I'm
Joe.
supposed to tell you that it's wonderful, because he told me to tell you, but I will tell you on my own that I've read it, and it's really wonderful. So enjoy it.
Thank you, Joe.
If they wanted me to give it to you, I can't boast about myself.
So I have
And they said you do it every day. Why can't you do it? Listen, everybody. If everybody in this room brings 10 friends to vote for Jay, 10 friends, we'll, you're not all Gloucester people, but 10 friends will carry this community, and 10 friends talk to 10 friends. That's how elections are won.
That's right. That's exactly right.
You know, it's not rocket science. People, if people know what Maura Healey is, they won't vote for her, okay? But they have to know what she is. And they have to know how Jay is the exact opposite of Maura, okay? So, you know, if we want good government, the least we can do is go out there and get friends and people who, like-minded people who care about this country, who care about this state, who care about freedom, who care about our liberties, convince them to get to the polls, vote for Jay, and life will be better. So thank you.
Another debate scheduled?
Yes, we do. We have one on the 24th. It's kind of interesting because it's going to be a. Do you know how this works in politics? There's no law or rule that you have to debate your opponent. So all that is negotiated, and every bit of it is negotiated. For instance, we wanted 6. They would only agree to 3. I think, okay, 3. I can still do 3. Then you got to debate the forum. Now, I wanted Howie Carter to moderate.
She had a problem?
Problem with that?
I know. She wanted WGBH, which is
Why do we pay for it?
PBS, NPR.
Why does our tax dollars go to them?
So, she wanted them. We said, well, we would really like, I won't do it unless I get it. So you gotta decide. I really want her up there because I want to be able to and they're gonna truck it all around. I mean, everybody's gonna get it and use it and everything else. It's gonna be recorded. If it's the only way to lasso her in there and get her in there and do something, I'm gonna do it. So we did it. So the strategy was, get her into the first one, lock down the second one, which we did. The second one is, and that's the one coming down on the 24th. It's going to be, and by the way, is there a website to go to? I think there's a waiting list to get in there, right?
Yes, Eventbrite.
Yeah, what is it?
It's Eventbrite, but there's already a waiting list and all the tickets. We have 40 for the campaign that I believe are available, but I'm not sure how many people are available. It's on a 3 p.m. slot on a Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon. So if anyone's interested, contact the campaign. We'll see what we can do.
We'll put your name on the list, or else you can put your name on their list.
It's a
And then if
Wednesday
somebody,
afternoon at 3 p.m. at UMass Boston, which
Right.
is
It's being moderated.
Roxbury's down in the city, obviously.
It's being
It's right by the
moderated.
JFK Library,
JFK
yeah.
Library,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's being moderated by the Globe, the same people that brought you the news today about, and who's gonna do a follow-up tomorrow. So she may not show up for that one. But, so that's how it's gonna be, and it's gonna be a real debate. Yeah, it's gonna be live, and I believe, yeah, it's gonna be live, but I think they're gonna broadcast it live too.
Right.
So it's gonna be televised. And basically, it's a real debate. We're gonna be at podiums. The one on WGBH, we were at the table. Now, to be fair, the WGBH one, a lot of people said, well, you know, they did this to you, they did that to you. I was expecting worse, to be honest. So so when I left there, I remember thinking to myself, we already knew going in, we were not gonna show all the cards. We weren't gonna go crazy on her. We're not gonna do anything like that, because we know this is a liberal audience that at least initially is getting it. So what we did was basically just go in and maintain, get a couple of hits in, let her know we're alive. She'll know it for sure come the 24th. Just waiting for that moment. So that's where we're at. And then the 25th, Ryan, what's the 25th? Because that's supposed to be the third one in Springfield. But nobody knows about that. It's sort of, it's more like an interview with journalists.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
it's, yeah, we just tied it down.
Great.
But we still don't even know the context of it. So it's like, it's supposed to be in Springfield. The way it was explained to me, I'm gonna sit down with some journalists, and then, and we don't know which one's going first. And I don't even think the other person is gonna be there. But they ask you questions and stuff, you feel questions. So to me, it's not a debate. So I don't know how that's working out. But the only real debate that we were able to nail down is the one coming up on the 24th. And we're gonna have some fun. It's an hour long. They say there's no breaks. So either if they're gonna do commercials and stuff, they're gonna pick a question, someone cut it, and when they redo it, or but it's supposed to be live. So I guess you're gonna get straight 1 year.
Do you have any ads going on TV?
It depends on what we haul here tonight.
Because, because I have friends like all over, and people like in Framingham said they didn't even know you were running. That's
Yeah, I know.
ridiculous. So I think you have to
Ryan,
even
you
just
write this down, Ryan?
even
They're
just
saying they don't, some people, all these people are saying they're talking to all their neighbors, and nobody even knows I'm running.
Yeah, I don't.
No.
If they live right next door to the Orlandos, they know I'm running. Other than that, nobody knows.
We're doing ads, we're doing a lot of different things. We have signs, we're getting them out there, shipping direct, some to us, some to Mass Victory offices. Keep in touch with your Mass Victory office in the area. Gloucester, Swampscott, Beverly. I believe there might be one in Danvers, Salisbury, Andover, Stoneham, so they're all over the state.
So I want to just share one thing about. I want to talk about the
I
signs.
will ask Jane and Shelley if we have bumper stickers.
Yeah, we got them downstairs.
Okay, bumper stickers are great. Okay, the sign problem was so big in 2016. Okay, when Donald Trump ran, we couldn't find the signs. So I delivered 150 signs. Okay, but I had to go and get them in Woburn. And it's like, where were these signs? So the signage is really important, especially for election day, or if there's a town meeting. Like Saturday, there's a town meeting in Hamilton. My suggestion is to have some truck with everybody signing it and show up at these public town events and say, if you want to take these home with you, take it, because people are really, frustrated. Brad Hill doesn't have enough in this area, and he's got a real strong contestant. So
I'll tell you what, we've actually had several thousand signs, and they just they
vanish.
Like Ray Shelley, I mean, like they come.
It's really good
orders coming
advertising.
faster
Yeah,
than we-
they're actually being shipped to
Well,
all
we got
the
now we got another 1,000 that are
yeah,
being shipped
they're
tomorrow.
being shipped to all the Mass Victory offices.
Because I can deliver
And
them.
by the end of the day tomorrow.
Okay.
And then,
Stickers.
yeah, and then Goal.
I'll take some.
Goal is also a depot for us.
You guys know who Goal is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Goal
They're
is
a depot.
supporting me 100%.
Yeah.
I was just there today doing some.
But your Mass Victory offices should be stocked at least
How is
by
Mr. Wallace?
Monday.
Was that?
I said, how is Mr. Wallace?
He's good. He was good today. I spent an hour with him today. He's a great guy. I love him. He's funny. He is really funny. He's a funny
By
guy.
the way, Facebook is cheap. and we can get so much out on Facebook.
Right.
Everyone puts it out
Absolutely.
there. Like tonight, we've got some video here.
Right.
A nice piece where
Yeah.
Jay's explaining how she violated our rights in the
Right.
law and what the SJC just did. Now, if that's put on and 1,000 people share it,
Right.
okay? And then it'll be all over the state. I mean, it's not gonna be easy.
So I'm
but
gonna
it's
post
doable.
it. I'll post it in my YouTube site, which is Beacon Hill Flag That. So it's everything that has to do with the State House.
One other thing that's really important about that, the way the Facebook algorithm works, the more people who share it, the more traction it gets. It'll start being suggested to other people.
Right.
So I guarantee you, if everybody in this room were to share that video, people who aren't your friends are going to see suggested for you. And that's a matter of
Right.
everybody sharing it. So
Right.
everybody can contribute that simple little thing.
I tell you, it really, I mean, it's very difficult to raise enough money to do television advertising.
Yep.
It's very difficult. But we now have a new vehicle, okay? We have a new vehicle where we can reach as many people as a TV commercial can reach. It just takes more people to cooperate in the process of sharing.
If they don't censor us, like they're trying to do.
They're not gonna censor us. They're not gonna censor us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, they
listen,
won't stop this.
we just keep on putting it out there. An appropriate clip that's put out there explaining the difference between Jay and Maura. People will see it, they'll share it, they'll go to the polls, they'll do the right thing.
So I'm gonna leave it open on YouTube, so if anybody wants to take the footage and use it somewhere, they can. So even though it's a video, somebody can, someone who has editing skills can take that and use it to advertise. So, I mean, it's not, that's what I do actually, trying to get the whole footage, everything.
Yeah, and you'll begin to see on our Facebook the compare and contrast videos that you've been doing.
Right.
You're gonna see those in the next week or so, the compare and contrast between the two candidates. So just keep checking out our Facebook because you can share those as well. So we're gonna have those little snippets come out, 15, 30 seconds, so
What's
start
it,
coming
Jay
out on.
McMahon, what's the,
Your
on Facebook, how do I find you?
It's at Attorney Jay McMahon.
At Attorney Jay McMahon.
Yeah, and just spell out the word attorney, Jaymcmahon, no spaces.
At Attorney General.
Yeah, so you're gonna start seeing those on our Facebook, probably in the next week or two, because we've been videotaping those snippets to go out, so. If you share those, that'd be great. And again, they'll be compare and contrast.